you guys are having a terrific season with Philadelphia Union. You get that first round bye. We've seen that first round bye for a successful team isn't always in the best interest of the club because maybe you lose a little bit of rhythm that you've established in the season. How are you and the team kind of managing watching other players and other teams play in the playoffs, and you just kind of have to wait?
Yeah, no, I think, well, this year is a bit different. It's not like the other years where you did have to wait about like 3 weeks, if you got that first round bye. So that's better. But yeah, I've seen some of the results and some of the score lines. As Charlie knows, when you get kids, it's tough, or Jimmy as well. Heath, do you have any kids? I don't think you do.
He's got like 17 of them. They're all girls.
No, but like, it's just hard to watch games in the weekends, right? Because you have so many kids' activities and games and traveling everywhere. But no, I've seen the score lines, and you saw Austin yesterday go down at home 2-0, right? So it's not always easy, man. The playoffs is a different ball game. It's a whole new season. Anything can happen, but the most that we can do is just control what we can control. And we did that during the regular season. We have home field advantage, and I feel very strongly about our place at home. Playing anybody and everyone that we will be dominant with our style of play and get results. So that's the game plan. We have a game plan right now, and hopefully we execute it and move on.
No, Ali, at this point of the season, like you said, playoff starts kind of starts over regardless of the season you guys have been having. You've been part of this Philadelphia Union project for a while now. What do you think is the difference between, obviously last year, 90 minutes and a bunch of COVID cases away from reaching a final, but this year, just consistent throughout the year, arguably the best team in the league all season long. What's the difference year over year that sort of keeps this thing moving forward without it sort of, you see these projects and you go every fourth or fifth year, you got to start over, but this seems to continue to get better and better year in, year out.
Yeah, no, it's just that level of consistency we've shown is just incredible, and it's tough to do in the league where there's so much parity. But credit to all the guys who have come in, the players that have been scouted and brought into the team, the academy doing well with the homegrowns, getting them ready to come up. But, I think we just set a certain standard and from a cultural standpoint in the locker room, whoever comes into the team just understands their roles very well. Jim is a great manager, which is important to be as a coach. And that's been the key to our success so far. So, if we need to rely on the next man up, that guy knows what, his role, knows the system of play that we have, which is, unique to maybe us and maybe another one or two teams, but we execute our game plan game in and game out, and everybody knows their roles. And we might not play the prettiest soccer at all times, but our goal is, to try to suffocate teams, make them make mistakes and punish them. And, we've been able to do that very well in the second half of the season. And we're hoping to do the same here in the playoffs.
Ali, I don't know if you can see the YouTube comments, but P. Morton's coming for you. He said, Bedoya has his coach at a press conference demeanor down pat already.
He's got a whiteboard behind him, too. He's got a whiteboard behind him with
if you guys want to go over the X's and O's.
All right, this question is for Coach Curtin. Could you move aside?
Yeah. Hey, no, but I will say this. What's changed a lot since I first came here is just the quality of player, too. We might not have those marquee guys,
Yeah, here they come. Here they come.
But here they come. I think Charlie was on those teams, too. Like when I first got here, let me tell you something. The biggest difference for me is at center back position. No disrespect to my previous teammates, but that's been a huge upgrade in terms of the spine of a team. Guys that can hit a ball, ping a ball with laces, diagonal switch of plays and playing through the lines. Like when I first came here,
we got Austin Trusty on loan at Arsenal, and you're throwing him under the bus. We got Mark McKenzie at Gang throwing him under the bus, and now you got you do have the best center back pairing in the league,
Trusty's developed, but he couldn't do that when he first was here.
Okay, fair. I'll give you that.
He would tell you that's true. If you're looking at this next match, Cincinnati, they've played you tough in both occasions, right? They beat you handily in Cincinnati and a 1-1 draw in Philly, one of 5 teams to do it. What makes this matchup so difficult? Is it just because Pat Noonan knows you guys? Is it that simple? Chris Albright, Pat Noonan, they go, hey, we've been in the locker room. We know how they operate. We know how they like to attack. Or is it down to the players that they have in Brennan Vasquez, Lucho Acosta, and Brenner?
Yeah, I think I don't think it's just as simple as, they know what we're all about and how to attack us and things like that. I think that's a good storyline, but I think it's more just the style of play, how they play. There's not many teams in the league that play with 2 strikers up front, right? And when you got a guy like Vasquez who can hold up the ball, who's strong on the ball, who's quick getting in behind, he gives every, defense a problem. And that's no different with our team, So him and Brenner's been having a great season this year. And with the Costa just drifting anywhere and everywhere, behind them, they're a lethal attack. So, and they give every defense problem. That's no different. So our defense has to be at their absolute best, against them, because they'll punish you. But, we know they have weaknesses too, like every team. And we got a 1-1 result here, which is disappointing at home. But I think this is the playoffs, and they're coming here in a hostile environment, and we're going to do everything to kind of try to suffocate them and press them, get goal off of turnovers, and not allow Acosta too much time and space.
Yeah, he's definitely the catalyst. You got to get a couple people around him for sure. But I actually want to get back away from this game a little bit. There's got to be some secret sauce that's happening with the Philadelphia Union Youth Academy. There's been plenty of names, some we've already mentioned, and Brendan Aronson, obviously, and then his brother Paxton, and you got Jack McClay. You got a whole bunch of players. What?
Look at this. Look at this. Before Jimmy, you get in. Look at this dorky photo of Paxton. His arms awkwardly down by his side. Ali. I mean, what's going on in this photo, man? I've got it in a hard case.
Is he wearing a helmet on his head?
Yeah,
like Lego head.
I've got it. It's a number card, so I'm keeping it. So it's gonna be worth something someday. It better be. This guy's supposed to be good.
If you need that signed, let me know.
I mean, you must. Do you just kind of? Wow, we got another one of our players from the Youth Academy training with us today, and this kid can absolutely ball. I mean, it's pretty remarkable how consistently you guys are producing these players.
Yeah, when you say that, and they do come up, right away, I'm just going to make sure I smash them.
Welcome to the first team.
Welcome to the first team. No, I think, I think, what they've done here with the academy, just on the soccer side of things is incredible. But also, I think, at the school that they have too, YSC, I got to give them credit too, because a lot of them have a good head on their shoulders. They got the right mentality as well. They're willing to learn. Charlie was here as well, and you saw a lot of these guys always asking our experienced guys like ourselves, questions, staying after and to participate in extra training, whether it was shooting, working on their finishing, working on their crosses, their turning, things like that. So it's great, and there's so much talent in the region, in the area. But even now, I was recently at a game after one of our trainings. They had like a tournament or something. And you got the U14s, U15, U16s. And these kids, I mean, they're getting them from all over the place. I mean, these guys are coming in from Cali, Arizona, Texas, like not even just in our region anymore. So, I mean, there's some good scouting going on, and all this data and analytics now that's coming along. So it's fantastic, but it's cool. And they're keeping me young and fresh, because they're not just going to take my spot, easily. So they got to earn it.
Well, yeah. I mean, it certainly seems like, you talked about laying a challenge into them. How soon after the announcement of them moving to a new facility, the team moving to a new facility, it's going to be unbelievable. And you probably won't get to experience much of it once it's fully done. How long after that did it take for you to lay into a challenge on a young guy to be like, these guys are going to get it good? How long into the training before you laid a challenge into somebody on that one?
Oh no! Well, I'll just wait to see how they handle it. You get some guys that maybe come up and are really confident, and they want to try to step over or two and try to meg you. Oh, the first guy that tries to meg me, forget about it. That next play, they're going down.
Well, my serious question is actually this, right? So the new facilities they announced are going to actually bring the players together. So the school, the players, if there's a residency academy, all these things are going to come into one roof as the next step of this process of now having these players in and around the first team where they can experience it, having them down the hallway from a player like yourself who's played in a World Cup. How important is that in terms of the future evolution of the club and the next steps in that journey?
I think it's very important, because I think part of the process for a young player to learn is to see how the first team operates, see how the older veteran players or even the young talented players who are on the first team handle themselves, right? How do they manage themselves? How they train? How fiery it can get, and just looking at the first team, how we train and how we go about things. So I think that's part of the development, and I think it's crucial for everything to be in the same place, in the same area, because I think that interaction too goes a long way. Like I remember even as a kid, if you're able to cross paths with the professional or whatever, some position that you aspire to. I think that gives you real motivation. And I think it's important to have those, moments where like maybe the first team is coming off the field and you're coming on with your team to go training or whatever. And you're able to just chit chat a bit, or even get some feedback, so I think it's important, and I think it's huge, and the center looks amazing, and I think it bodes well for the future of the union.